in Daniel Beecham. I see him in the green room. I'm going to bring him now and talk AI. How you doing, Daniel? Thanks for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Todd.
I hear you're the man when it comes to AI. So first, tell us about your company. What's your background and what are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So my company is Propagent, and what we do is end-to-end proposal response. And so what that means is both from the vendor side and the buyer side, we are building to basically fully automate that entire process. The idea is and the kind of the vision around that is to get to the point where you are you're doing the most important part, which is talking to the vendors and the vendors talking to the buyers, and get to the point where you already have that kind of selection of the best vendors, and you're already getting to that last part instead of that process taking months and and doing all this kinds of really busy low impact work. My background has been primarily in consulting, so data, AI, and digital transformation. I led generative AI for my last consulting firm. I did projects for Fortune 500 companies, so led generative AI and AI machine learning platforms and products. I've built some really cool stuff. I've been really fortunate to work with really great clients on really cool projects. And most recently, I did some work with a AI center of excellence as well, that for a utilities firm based out of the Southeast as well. So very AI heavy, pretty product heavy. And this is the second startup I've been part of.
So is that becoming a thing in consulting, as in AI is coming in, and so people don't really know how to integrate it into their business, et cetera? Is that the new wave of consulting, you think?
I mean, the proof's in the numbers, right? You look at, like BCG, McKinsey, some of these bigger consulting firms, Accenture, right? They're absolutely killing it on AI consulting. In fact, I think it's probably eaten up some different parts of the business in terms of that, but it is also become just a absolute massive revenue driver for consultancies, primarily because customers don't have AI background. They don't generally, not all of them have AI teams and AI specialists and data scientists and data engineers and all the skill sets that it requires to go out there and actually create something useful and valuable for the company. So yeah, it's definitely really a huge deal for consultancies, whether or not they're experts or pretending to be experts. They're killing it out there.
I'm sure. So yeah, fake it till you make it, right? So tell me your company. So if I'm a business and I think, wow, I really got to get ahead of the curve and integrate AI into what I'm doing, and you would come to you to basically assist in that process. You're not the actual vendor, but you're bringing in the right vendors, managing the process, and getting the client to the end game that he wants. Is that correct?
So when I was a consultant, I would say yes, right? Okay. Right now, what we're doing is very heavily involved in the RFP process. So RFPs, very much in formal procurement. So what we do is we basically treat our what we do as a service at the moment, as we're kind of building out the technology around it. But we're doing everything from sourcing opportunities for your company to respond and then building out the full response to these very complex RFPs, and then coaching to help you get past the finish line, right? So you make it. We write this great proposal for you. You get to the top, 2 or 3 contenders. You have the oral presentation. So we coach you based off of what your gaps are in your actual proposal, based off of your history and all the data that you have provided us and the data that's available publicly to us. So we're really about taking you from start to finish with complex procurement.
So that begs the question: what's the suite size for your client? That seems would lend itself to a larger business. Am I correct? Or am I wrong?
You'd be surprised, right? There's 2 kinds of clients that we're getting right now. One of them is the client where there's a single bottleneck, right? So all proposals go through a single person, and that person, let's just say in the architecture, engineering, and construction space, that person tends to be the director of marketing, right? The director of marketing has tons and tons of their own work that they have to get done on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And then their partner, and their partner comes by and says, "Hey, this RFP is due in a week. We need to do it." And it's 100% on that one person, and that becomes a huge bottleneck for that person, right? And so the other thing about that is these directors of marketing are not RFP proposal writers. They're not experts in that space. Sure, they do one occasionally. We've heard really interesting feedback from some of them. A lot of it around being this kind of like, I have a week, and it usually, by the way, an average RFP takes between 30 and 40 hours to complete. And so, it fully consumes them, and they have to get other things done, and then they end up, putting out proposals that are just not high quality. And then guess what? They don't win the proposals, so that all that time is wasted. And then they have this kind of really strong negative feedback loop. Right? It's like you lose, and then you get another one put on your desk, and it's just really low impact work. I know I've worked on tons of proposals. I know it's painful to do anyways, right? And it makes it worse to lose, and it makes it worse when you're on these kinds of time crunches. And so we eliminate a lot of that time crunch because we can get that first draft within minutes instead of days. And really, so you can just focus on a couple little tweaks on there before you submit that. And so, sorry, to answer the second part of that is that there is the other kind of client, which is the one that is already strategically using RFPs, right? So like they have a really strong procurement process. They're already answering maybe several hundred RFPs every year, but they are also, hiring several full-time writers for this. So the way you look at it is you can either say this could be a cost-cutting mechanism. Everybody hates to hear it, but it's true, and it's going to affect a lot of different positions, especially in knowledge work and in writing, right? And then on the other side of that, there's the ability to say, well, you're doing 200 RFPs. What's stopping you from doing 300, 400, 500, 1,000 RFPs, right? And so that's kind of the other value kind of proposition for companies that already are using RFPs strategically.
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
So you're in the Southeast. Is that the majority of your clients, or do you go national or even global, or what are you looking for?
Right now, we're primarily focused in the U.S. and Canada, mainly because the procurement piece is well, from public procurement perspective, it's all publicly available, right? So when we're doing the sourcing, it's a lot easier for us to go out there and find work for our clients. Also, by the way, a very painful part of the process, as we've learned doing some of this manually as we're building out our technology. You go into 20, 30, 40 different websites and sign up, and you got to manage all the filtering, and they send you a bunch of stuff somehow still that has nothing to do with the type of work you're trying to get done, and so you have to filter through all that in your email, and your email becomes a big mess, right? So so we're solving for that as well. But to your point, we're focused in the U.S. and Canada primarily at the moment. As we grow, we hope to expand that footprint.
So let me switch to the business in general, or the sector in general. You're hearing today and in the last few days a lot of big layoffs at firms on AI. What are you seeing in the labor force as far as a change? Companies, is it happening faster than we thought, or is it happening for real, or what do you think?
So I have several perspectives on this. The first one is there was an interesting recent study done where the AI was given tasks, and AI and humans are given tasks that were done, that are typically done remotely. So think like Fiverr or one of these kinds of services where you can hire somebody remote to do the work. And ask it to do end-to-end, like complete this task and submit it, and humans would then grade whether or not they thought it was sufficient. The result was at 2.5% of the work, which was acceptable, that was done by AI, right? So there's
not a big number.
It's not a big number yet, right?
Yeah.
But it's not insignificant, but it's not super significant either, right? Because if you think, 2.5% of all work, right, that could potentially be done remotely, and the remote work has become pretty standard these days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of people potentially that are being replaced in their jobs. On the other hand, from the layoff perspective, what I'm seeing is that it's less so that there's a net layoffs. It's more about restructuring and reorganization of companies around AI capabilities. And so what happens is they'll, get rid of people that they think aren't necessarily great fits for the new reorg. And often companies also, like Amazon, for example, is known for taking the bottom 10% and getting rid of them annually, right? So sometimes it's just a way to say, hey, we have some people that aren't necessarily performing very well. Let's slim down a little bit and reorganize around how AI can work. And they'll hire, people that have AI skills into new roles. So it's definitely a shift in terms of, hiring and firing. But I think what it is that people always get focused on the negatives and they don't see so much like the hiring side of it as well.
Interesting. So what are you seeing in your RFPs that you manage? Is it mostly like customer service, or is it legal? Is it medical? I mean, what kind of sectors are you seeing really pick up AI?
So right now, our customers are primarily either professional services, technology, or the architecture, engineering, construction. And so, very interesting, right? And what it is, it's like the more complex it is, the more value we bring. So if you can just copy, change the name of the customer and submit it, then we're not the right fit. But if it's something where you need to tailor it to a specific solution, or it's some sort of custom work done, or perhaps you just want to incorporate research that is being done about your client into the RFP and make it more personal, and bring in your strategic win themes based off of what you're really good at and how it fits with both the proposal and the context of the client. That's where we bring a lot of that value. So the more complex the proposals, the better. And that's kind of where a lot of very complex proposals are created.
That's interesting. So tell us, if, we've got a national, global audience. If somebody's out there like, wow, this sounds like what I need, where would they find you? Yeah,
so they can find me on my email, primarily, daniel@propagent.ai. You can see Propagent spelled right in front of my right by my name there. You could also find me on LinkedIn. We also have a website that you can request a demo on. So it's propagent.ai is that website. So you can find me various ways, right? But if you look me up, I'm maybe one of 7 Daniel Beechams on LinkedIn. It shouldn't be too terribly difficult,
Well, we want to have you back because AI is going to be a big portion of what we're doing. So I really appreciate you coming on today. Thanks a lot, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. Great talking to you, Todd.
Take care, man. Ciao.